They say the eyes never lie. And when it comes to Dylan Wang and Shen Yue, that statement feels truer than ever. Because fans have started to notice something subtle, yet undeniable. It wasn't a scripted moment. It wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't part of any performance. It was just the way Dylan looked at her. And that single look has the internet talking. Dylan Wang, the actor who first captured hearts with his portrayal of Dao Ming-si in Meteor Garden. And Shen Yue, the charming actress who embodied Shan Kai so perfectly, she became unforgettable. Together, they created one of the most iconic on-screen couples in modern Chinese drama history. But for years, fans have speculated that what they shared went beyond the script. Because even after the cameras stopped rolling, their bonds seemed to glow just as brightly. The latest wave of discussion began with a clip. A simple, short moment at a promotional event. Shen Yue was speaking to the crowd, smiling that warm, disarming smile that always makes people feel at ease. And then, there was Dylan, standing just behind her, watching her. Not casually, not with the indifference of a co-star who has worked with her countless times, but with an expression that could only be described as tender. It wasn't the kind of look that could be rehearsed. It wasn't the kind of glance you practice for a camera. It was the sort of look that escapes only when your heart is unguarded, when your feelings slip past the walls you've built. And in that fleeting moment, fans everywhere saw it. The way Dylan's eyes softened when they fell on Shen Yue. The way his lips curved into the slightest, almost shy smile. The way he seemed lost in her presence, as though no one else existed in the room. Social media lit up almost instantly. Clips were reposted, slowed down, analyzed frame by frame. One fan wrote, "Forget scripts. Forget acting. This is what love looks like." Another added, "He doesn't even realize how obvious he is. That's the purest thing about it." Soon, hashtags began trending. Hashtag Dylan Weiss. Hashtag Shen Yue effect. Hashtag the look that's ill. And once again, the fandom found itself caught in a whirlwind of speculation. Of course, some tried to explain it away. It's just good chemistry, they said. Dylan is always warm with his co-stars, others argued. But those who had followed their journey since Meteor Garden knew better. Because Dylan doesn't look at everyone like that. He never has. That gaze, that softness, it's reserved for Shen Yue. Think back to their earliest days on set. Dylan was a newcomer then. Young, unpolished, still finding his footing in an industry that can be merciless. And yet, beside Shen Yue, something shifted. She steadied him. She teased him. She drew out a side of him that fans had never seen before. Behind-the-scenes clips showed it all. The laughter, the stolen glances, the comfort of being fully themselves around each other. Even back then, people noticed. Something unspoken was unfolding between them. Years have passed since those first days of Meteor Garden. Both Dylan and Shen Yue have grown. They've taken on new roles, worked with new people, and carved their own paths in the industry. But whenever their names cross in conversation, fans can't help but return to one question. Why does their connection still feel so alive? Maybe it's the way Dylan lights up when Shen Yue's name is mentioned in interviews. Maybe it's the playful banter that slips out whenever they're together. Or maybe it's simply the way he looks at her. Because that kind of gaze doesn't fade with time. It lingers. It deepens. It betrays feelings too strong to be hidden. Body language experts have even weighed in. One noted how Dylan's posture seems to shift when Shen Yue is nearby. He leans in slightly. His attention sharpens. And his expressions grow softer, warmer, almost unguarded. His entire energy changes, one expert explained. This isn't performance. This is instinct. And Shen Yue? She's not oblivious. In fact, fans swear they've caught her noticing those looks, then blushing, smiling, or quickly glancing away. As though she's trying not to reveal too much. As though she, too, knows there's something deeper beneath the surface. But what is it about this one look that has set the internet ablaze? Perhaps it's because love, in its purest form, is often wordless. It doesn't need grand gestures or dramatic confessions. Sometimes, it's just in the way two souls recognize each other, silently, effortlessly, in the space of a glance. And when Dylan's eyes found Shen Yue in that moment, fans saw exactly that. Recognition, admiration, and something that looked a lot like love. The truth is, people crave stories like this. Not because they're guaranteed. Not because every glance confirms a hidden romance. But because deep down, we all long to believe in connections that defy time, distance, and circumstance. We long to believe that even in an industry built on scripts and roles, something real can shine through. Something unplanned. Something that belongs only to them. For Dylan and Shen Yue, that possibility has never faded. From their first audition together to the latest viral clip, their bond has carried an authenticity that fans can't ignore. Maybe it's friendship. Maybe it's something more. But either way, it's undeniable. When asked once about Shen Yue, Dylan gave an answer that fans still replay. "She has a way of making people comfortable," he said. "She's real. And that's rare." Simple words. But perhaps they reveal more than he intended. Because when someone makes you feel seen, when someone brings out your truest self, that connection is unforgettable. And sometimes, it shows most clearly in the eyes. So, what does this look mean? No one can say for certain. Not Dylan. Not Shen Yue. Not even the fans who analyze every frame. But maybe that's the beauty of it. The mystery. The possibility. The way one glance can tell 1,000 stories without speaking a single word. And if you ask the fans, they'll tell you this. The way Dylan Wang looked at Shen Yue that night wasn't acting. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't for show. It was real. And sometimes, real is all you need. Whether they ever choose to confirm anything doesn't matter. Because that look, caught in a fleeting, ordinary moment, was already more powerful than words. It was a reminder that the heart speaks loudest when the lips remain silent. That sometimes, love is seen before it is spoken. And for Dylan Wang and Shen Yue, fans believe they just saw it. So, maybe the question isn't whether they're together. Maybe the question is simpler. When Dylan's eyes soften at the sight of Shen Yue, when his entire being seems to quiet in her presence, when one glance sets the world buzzing with speculation, maybe the real question is, do they even need to say anything at all? Because in the end, fans noticed it. The way Dylan Wang looked at Shen Yue, and to them, that says everything. And so, the conversation continued online. People began compiling evidence. Screenshots, GIFs, slowed-down clips. Each one showed Dylan's gaze resting on Shen Yue, not with the casual familiarity of co-stars, but with something much deeper. It wasn't the playful banter we saw in Meteor Garden. It wasn't the scripted push and pull of Dao Mingxi and Shan Kai. This